I'm going to go ahead and record this. I just wanted to touch base here. I just want to know kind of where we are. It just seems like we're kind of scattered here. I don't know. Maybe it's me. So if it's me, please get me straightened out here. Let's talk about the follow-up tool. Yesterday we were up to like 260 on the follow-up tool. I looked this morning. We're down to 182. You've been working on that, George, I assume?
Yep. I've been doing it the same way all the time. I go to the follow-up tool. I sort it for those that opted in, and then I send all those people an email. Whether or not they have a district captain depends on the template I use. But it's been kind of messed up lately, and it's not attaching district captains correctly and that kind of stuff. Can you guys still see me? I can see me on my tablet. Can you still see me?
No.
Can't see you now.
Oh, I don't know where the camera's. Well, anyway. So I sort it for people that opted in to get email. I send them thank you emails. Then the ones that opted out, I go through those, and the ones that do not have a phone number, I just complete them because we don't have any way to get in contact with them. I have not been sending any thank yous via my personal email. And the ones that you see left over, unless they've come in within the last 24 hours or so, are ones that have opted out and have phone numbers. And they've been accumulating for the last month or two.
Okay, if they've opted out but they have phone numbers, why are you holding them on there?
Well, because originally we discussed that we would, if they had a phone number, that doesn't mean they don't want to be contacted necessarily. And the intention was to call them, since they did give us a phone number.
Okay.
Some of them I did put in, at the beginning I put them as in process. Then Rachel reminded me that when you do that, that tags them to just me, and I'm the only one that can see them, which means that nobody else would be able to make calls to them.
Okay.
So I left them in the follow-up tool.
Now, tell me again, reassure me, are we doing this the best way? I mean, is this our intention was that we would clear them off the follow-up tool and work them from the district dashboard? Now, is this? Do you think this is still the best way to do it?
Yeah, I can send them to the district dashboard. If I complete them, yeah, you're right. I should be doing that. All right, I'll send them over tonight.
Now, obviously, you saw the message from Rodney where.
Yeah, and I messaged him back too, and how I work it. But
Jenny is well, if you watched any calls this past week or so, Jenny is generally on the calls, and she's big on working the follow-up tool. And even Mark Meckler, if you've seen any of his battle cries or any of his talks, his big thing is contacting people within a certain number of days. And I don't know. I just it seems like we either gotta work the follow-up tool, or we stay with our strategy of clearing them and work from the district dashboard, where that's where the DC recruitment team would come into play.
Yeah, I'll send them to the district dashboard. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't know. I wasn't making a mental connection between the two. I've realized that before, but then, I don't know. I'm old. Forgive me. I know you're older. I'm surprised.
I probably am older, aren't I? Well, and we got a lady with a migraine on here, so.
I'm okay. I took off my glasses. I'm fine.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not better, but it's going away. You know, I could just honestly. I mean, this all came as a surprise to me. I don't look at the follow-up tool generally, but when I saw that Slack from Rodney, I looked at it. I mean, I think my sense is that obviously, I feel like obviously the fact that it's becoming too cumbersome to be responding to people by phone call, if they're sitting there for 2 months, then we need to change something, right? Because that's, you know, it's obviously not working. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so the idea that, so basically I think, is that what we're, and let me make sure I understand this. So if the people gave an email or they didn't opt out of emails, George is going to continue to do the email follow-up. But if they opted out of emails, they'll be put into the district dashboard, and then their follow-up will be done by a phone call.
Right. That's the way I understand it, yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay. That seems like it makes more sense.
I'm just thinking, why don't George just clear them, period.
Yeah,
and
I will.
Let's work them all from the district dashboard.
Even the ones that opted in?
Yeah. Regardless, so just clear them off.
Are we confident that we're not going to miss any, though? I mean, considering where we are with all the districts and...
Well, we probably are. We're not going to get to them. Hopefully we won't miss any, but we won't get to them as quickly as we would like to because of the number of district captains that we have right now. Now, that's going to get better as we go along, but...
okay.
Well, what do you think?
I was just under the impression, and George, tell me if I'm wrong, that you were handling the email follow-ups fine, that you were able to keep up with those, right? Because,
that's not a problem.
So maybe it makes sense to continue doing that just so that we don't have anybody that just doesn't get contacted at all. Because if George sends them a follow-up email and then they go into the district dashboard, the next thing that'll happen would be a phone call, and I don't see that it, you know.
Well, plus we're just calling volunteers, right?
Right.
Well, not everybody that goes through the follow-up tool is a volunteer.
Yeah. So if somebody signs up for the follow-up tool and they don't say they want to volunteer, if we change it the way you want, Dale, they could just be put in the district dashboard. They might be sitting there for 6 months until we get a district captain there and no one ever contacts them. So that's a concern if we just basically skip doing the follow-up emails.
Well, if we try to do this the way we're doing it, we're going to run into these periods where we have a backup.
Well, you know, once I clear them out tonight and stuff, all the ones that opted in for an email, I'll send them a thank you, and you know they'll be completed at the same time and they'll be sent to the district dashboard. You know, in either case, they're still sent to the district dashboard. But, you know, if they don't volunteer and I don't send them an email, it's like Rachel says, they won't get any contact, could be for quite some time.
I guess the point, Dale, is that I think that the reason that our numbers have gone up and the reason that it looks bad and the reason we have people that have been in there so long, those are the people that are opted out. So if we just push the opt-outs into district dashboard, but we continue trying to do follow-ups for people who've opted in, I don't think we'll have a backlog, or we won't have much of a backlog, right, George?
Well, whatever that's in the follow-up tool now, I don't know, 180, something like that.
Right.
They're going to be going to the district dashboard tonight. Of course, you know, that's statewide, so that's not, you know, it's scattered out pretty well through all the different districts, so it won't make that much of an impact.
So how many of the currently open follow-ups, George, are opt-ins and how many are opt-outs?
We've been getting about 300 every 2 or 3 days into the follow-up tool, whatever they are.
Okay.
50% or so are opt-in, 50-60% are opt-in.
So if
maybe a little higher. It's a bigger half is opted in.
Right. I'm just wondering if we just pass the people who are opt-outs through to the district dashboard, if that'll significantly decrease the numbers just that way.
Yeah, I'd keep the follow tool clean, and because I go through it every couple of days or so and send me emails.
Right.
Okay. What are we gonna do then?
I'll send thank you emails to the opt-ins and the ones that opt out. I'll just send them, whether they have a phone number or not. I'll just send them straight to the district dashboard.
Yeah,
and then they'll be set up for, if they volunteered, then they'll be getting phone calls.
Okay, so all the opt-ins, you're going to send a welcome email, which will clear them and send them to the dashboard.
Right.
And the opt-outs, you're going to send them straight to the district dashboard.
Right.
Okay. All right, Rachel?
Yeah, I think that's a good intermediate step to take before, because I worry about if we just clear everyone out of the follow-up tool, then we're going to miss people. So I guess we can look at it again in a week or so and see. And if George, if you feel like you're getting backed up with the follow-up emails, just let me know. I'd be happy to pitch in.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't take.
Yeah, I think
Follow-up tool isn't working as smoothly as it was in the past, but it's not on our national's high priority list to get it fixed, I've been told. So just kind of, it's not a pain. It's just I got to reload a template with each one instead of it was carrying the template over to the next one I would send, and so I was just click done, click done, click done.
Okay, all right. Let's now I've got Tammy on the agenda here. I know Tammy's in training, but my plan, was that Tammy would, she is part of the grassroots coordinator team, and my thought was that she would be part of the DC recruitment team and kind of eventually head that up. But if you also want to utilize her, George, for anything else that you're doing as far as grassroots is concerned, once she gets through the training, then you certainly can do that.
Okay. Isn't there another grassroots coordinator? I remember seeing in the LMT, I seem to remember seeing another grassroots coordinator. And I don't think it was Tammy. I think it was a guy, Michael something, maybe.
I believe that's an old name. If I'm thinking of the right person, that's.
I'm checking right now.
Okay, so. All right. I believe that's an old name. If that's the person you're talking about. Okay, I'm going to skip down. Let's skip down and talk about the DC recruitment team. Let me see what I got here. You sent me, George, you told me you got Ed Paraguay doing districts 2, 30, and 38. Now, District 2 is in Peter's region.
Yeah, I saw that message you sent.
So he really should be handling that himself. I'll check on that and see if he's doing anything.
Are region captains, are they automatically on the recruitment team? I mean, Peter, Gary's on the team, but Peter's not on.
Gary's on the team, but no, I did not contact Peter about, because he should be contacting people in his own region.
Okay.
But no, I did not ask him to be on the recruitment team.
Okay. In the future, are region captains going to be on the recruitment team, or are they just going to handle their own region?
They're going to handle their own region.
Okay.
Gary's got 25, 42, and 54. Terry's 21, 22. Now, of course, Tammy, when Tammy comes on, you can utilize her. And if you want to, Mary, Tim, and Brian Christensen, they were also people that helped us in Phase 1. If you want to contact them and see if they can help in Phase 2, please go ahead and do that.
Okay. Mary, Brian, and who was the third one?
Kim Heidenreich.
Oh, okay.
That's Mary Heath.
Yeah. Brian Christensen
and Brian Christensen. They all helped us in Phase 1.
Isn't Tim moving to another position, or?
Well, he hasn't told me yet. He's told me that he is looking at doing that, but he probably won't make a move until Victor, what's his name, Victor Monroe, who is going through the training right now as a his co-leader.
Yeah.
Probably when he's ready to go, that's when Tim will probably make the move. I don't know that for a fact, but that's my guess.
Although Tim has scheduled himself for training, so.
Right. Well, oh, he has. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Victor just had his first training last night. So, yeah, so Tim actually contacted me. He's going through the training.
Okay.
Regardless, which is smart. So.
Yeah. Do you need to get more people on this team?
On the recruitment team.
Yeah.
Well, let me check with Brian and Mary, see if they want to help out. No, this last week has been a slow week. Everybody was pretty busy doing stuff.
How many calls have you looked at how many calls each of the Ed, Gary, and Terry, how many calls they will be making?
I did at first when I assigned them to districts. I can't give you any numbers right offhand now.
Okay. I haven't looked at these districts myself. Sometimes there's really not that many calls to make in some of these districts, but then in others there are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
On the grassroots coordinator deal, I'm showing Dale Hensley, Rachel Kessler, and Tammy Scarborough are on the grassroots coordinator team, but I didn't get anybody for grassroots coordinator, not even myself. Hang on, I'm checking that again. What's the S stand for in SGC? State grassroots coordinator? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there. All right, I'm cool.
Okay.
If he was here, he's gone now. So.
All right. All right. Now, the SGC team ought to just have Tammy on it. I don't know.
It's got Dale Hensley.
Oh.
And Rachel and Tammy.
Oh, Rachel. Now, on Dale, is she? You told me that she doesn't have the computer system to do this. Is that what you're saying?
No, they got a nice system. And what's her husband's name? I don't remember.
Jay.
Jay. He works it fine. She's just kind of illiterate, and I haven't gotten back to her since we switched over to the new system. So she was just having a real hard time with all the cutting and pasting, going to different tabs, and keeping track of it all. You know, she even wrote down step by step what to do, and still having a hard time with it. I think she just had a big mental block on the technology and stuff.
Well, now, wasn't there also a server issue up there too?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Well, do you think it would be worth to with a new system? Would it be worth it to try to rekindle that her involvement?
Yeah, I could just have her do the thank you letters, instead of me doing them on the opt-ins. I'll give her a call and find out where she stands on it now. Because I don't want them done once a week. I want them done at least every couple of days.
Right.
And there's not that many. Keep it nailed down like that a couple of days or so.
Okay. Well, okay, all right. Please do then. Maybe she can be of help to you. Okay.
And
all right.
She was on the grassroots team, so she'd have permission statewide to see people. So
I'm sorry. What did you say?
The only reason she was on the team was to give her permissions in Nation Builder to see the whole state.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, then let's talk about the LMT. A lot of questions. I'm going to skip down here to the bottom one. This Luella Mazingo, she just hit there, I noticed today. I think her application was March 17th, just yesterday. Are you looking at it, George?
I looked at it yesterday. I haven't done anything with it today.
But I did.
She must come in late yesterday.
I didn't look at the time, but I did look at her application, her survey questions, and looks pretty good.
Yeah, that seems to be working better now, doesn't it?
It does. I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm seeing more people with survey questions there.
Yeah.
But I see a number of people on here, George, that we're waiting for additional calls, or we haven't heard back from people. Just a lot of them that are just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah. Then I put on the notes on there that I was going to give them another week, and that week has gone by, and yeah, they're due to get rejected.
What's Terrence Roselle? What has ever happened with him? Do you know? I don't see him on there at all. And I
don't recall his name either. He may have been rejected. We can look at ones that have been rejected.
Well, he's not in the rejected either.
No, not. I don't know.
Remember, this was the guy that I talked to, and I told you. I think Tim.
I remember him. I remember you telling me about him.
Yeah.
Did he apply?
The guy about the shooting, the Parkland shooting guy, right?
Yeah, that was the Parkland shooting guy.
Yeah, I remember him.
My note says that he applied he says he applied 3 times.
Oh, he was the one that Rick Hodge. He used remember he logged on, we think Rick might have given him his login information to Citizen Builder, right? Wasn't it some weird thing like that?
Okay.
Yeah, Rick was involved in that somewhere or another.
Somehow it got
all right.
Into that.
Yeah, he was approved, wasn't he?
I thought that we were no.
He's not in the assigned.
Well, I don't see him anywhere. It's just so weird.
He's not. I don't see him anywhere either.
Did you do a search in the people part?
Oh yeah, he's in people, but he's
But,
nowhere on the LMT, from what I can tell. In process, assigned, rejected.
What do the tags look like in his personal page?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you right offhand.
Hang on. I remember now that you talk about all that, Rick Hodge and all that. Yeah, I thought he was approved. Because you told me to approve him, right? Or you said in your opinion years ago. So
I told you that he was a mental therapist, and that we would probably refer Rachel to him.
Yeah.
But that when you called him, and when you talked to him, to just be aware of that he could go off on conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I'm remembering him now. Yeah.
But he seemed really excited about it. So we need to find out more about him.
All right.
These next two, Cameron Vanetta and Stephen Pine, it looks to me like we tried to contact them and they're not responding. I would just reject those two.
Yeah, I think they're on the reject list.
Get them off.
There's probably 4 or 5 others too.
And there's others that it seems like you've tried contacting them, and you tried then following up with an email, and you're still not getting any response from them.
Right.
And so let's just get them. Let's reject them. And I know Jenny wants us to call them and call them and call them and call them, and I just we just don't have time. We don't have time to do all that.
Yeah, she said she doesn't call them more than 2 times. She says she calls twice, then she sends an email. 2 Wells.
Well, that would be. I would agree. That would be the most. That we. Should
yeah, I've given people more than a fair shake to get a hold of us. And
yeah, I think you have too. So
I'm not even seeing Terrence. Oh, I spelled Terrance. Terrance. Rozzell.
I know the last name spelled right. I don't know about his first name, but
I seem to remember there was something strange about his first name. Like I said, not ANC, it's ENC.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I can try sorting without first name. Then it'd be part of the criteria.
Well, you don't have to look him up right now, but some others that
It's sadder I sit here and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. So.
You what?
It's that, or I sit here and be in the webinar or the conference call and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. But he's not showing up anyway. But I'll look at him. He's on my notepad.
But I've got question marks also. Ed Carmack, Kim Lewis, Mike Morgan, Renee Musgrave.
Mike Morgan, one of those. I'm pretty sure it's Mike Morgan. He works. He's in the golfing industry.
Yes. And
I did contact him. He's very interested. It's just, it's like Mick LaGrange was with the 4th of July. He owns a fireworks shop. Well, with spring and summer coming here, Morgan is real busy with work. He's doing like 80 to 100 hours a week with work, getting ready for the golf season. So he said it'll be a couple months before he can really jump in. I think that was Mike Morgan.
Well,
it's noted in the dashboard. So,
do we want someone like him as a district captain?
I don't see why not. I mean, he's got a lot of contacts, and
if he's going to be if he's going to be out of pocket for a few months out of the year, I don't know. What do you think about that, Rachel?
Well, that's what the whole idea of a DC team is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's going to have to do his. I mean, he can't even become a district captain until he goes through his training. And if he's not going to be able to do training for the next 2 or 3 months, maybe we need to ask him to reapply, or maybe we get back in touch with him in a couple of months.
Yeah, always my intention was to get back in contact with him, and I think I said June.
Yeah, but close him out. Don't leave him hanging. You know what I mean? Like make a note in his record that that it was a timing issue, but close him out, get him out of the LMT, because that's one of the other things that they're also tracking. What Dale was saying is people who are. I mean, Rodney sent me like the sheet that he has to submit to Ginny, and it says things like number of people in the LMT for more than 3 days, number of people in the LMT for more than a week. So it looks like they're really kind of pressing. They don't want people sitting there. So maybe you just make a note of him, and you speak to him next time you speak to him. Just ask him, when is a good, when do you think we'll be happy to have you when you're free? So just give us an idea of when you think you'll have more time, and we can make a note and have him give him a call back in a couple months if we still need help, which I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where we left it. He said when I talked to him, he said it'd be a couple months, and that put it like in April, May or June, something like that. So I made the note in Nation Builder. I mean, for him in the district in the LMT in the note section.
Right. Yeah. I saw your note. You do a good job on the notes, by the way.
Yeah. Well, that's because I need him too.
Huh?
That's because I need him too.
Right. The thing is, on the LMT, we don't have a holding category. Do we just put him in process? Is that what we do?
I've been doing it. This doesn't happen very often.
Right.
I mean, what is the downside to rejecting him?
Well, there is no downside.
Losing them all together would be about it.
He would have to reapply.
I don't know if Citizen Builder would let him reapply. Well, I don't know. If he's rejected, then that probably wipes him out. It takes off his records that he did apply. I don't know. I'm thinking about the technical side of the LMT.
Well, okay.
And I don't necessarily even that you'd have to redo the survey questions. It'd be kind of just give us a call back. We're going to reject you for now. When you're ready to start, give us a call back. If I don't hear from you, I'll call you. But I think he'd probably understand that. Well, we need to clean up our database and keep it organized and stuff.
Actually, it looks like as far as the tracking, Dale, it looks like she's only interested in people who are left in process without a reason. So it looks like if we keep, as long as there's a reason why we're keeping him in process, it won't be counted against us in the tracking.
All right.
So yeah, it looks like it's follow-up tools. For people left open, she doesn't want that. She doesn't care whether there's a reason or not. But for follow-up tools, she has a category for not follow-up tool, for LMT in process for 5 business days without a reason, and then she has LMT in process for 5 business days without a reason. Yeah, so she only really cares if there's no reason why they're still in process.
Okay, so if we're gonna, we have a person hit the LMT, so they're in the open, right? So if we're gonna hold on to them for some reason, so for some future reason, then we make a note and put them in process. Okay.
Okay.
And then the ones that we have to reject because of whatever reason, then we reject them.
Right. Okay.
So the ones in process will be, in fact, well, I think once you send them an email.
Yeah, any kind of contact automatically puts them in process.
Automatically puts them in process. Yeah.
If you make a phone call and you put a note in about it, that you called them, then yeah, that it has to be some kind of interaction.
I think it just seems like Dale, it seems like it's just a matter of like sort of when do you cut people off? You know, I mean, I feel like your frustration is with people who, you know, gone through the interview process and we were a go and we were ready to assign them and now they're not returning phone calls, and how long do we kind of...
Well, not even that far, just even making first contact and having trouble with it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we need a bright line for that. Maybe we need to, you know, I think the way we've been doing it is fine, but maybe there needs to be a bright line, like this is the, you know, number of contacts, and then you're done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, go ahead, George.
Way back when there were a few that I hadn't contacted in quite a while, so I kind of like started them over in it. There's one guy that we don't even have a phone number on, but I've sent him like I think 3 emails now. And he's, you know, and in the last email I told him that if I don't hear back from him, he's going to have to reapply. You know, we're going to reject him. So, but, yeah, the ones that are in there that are old, I've tried contacting them and I've gotten no response back, and they're due to come out. And that's pretty much any of them that are in probably February and beyond and earlier.
All right. So we're going to reject them, right?
Yeah.
They're not getting back. Okay.
I don't know how much that'll clean it all up, but there's only 17 or something like that in there. I don't know still in there.
Okay,
I don't know, but yeah, there's not a whole lot in there. And I'm only doing the district captains, right?
Yes, that's all you're doing. Yes.
Okay.
Now I think you got a couple. You got a couple other ones, didn't you? Tell me.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Stephen Alstead. Crap. Anyway, yeah, he signed up. Gary Harbaugh got him. No, he got Diane. Diane Hurd.
Stephen Hartness.
Yeah, Hartness. Yeah. He called me and he had a lot of questions about how the process would go, how the convention would go. And I sent him some other information. He's going to look at it, and I'll call him Tuesday or something if he doesn't call me. But it was a good call. He's you know, very interested and something needs to be done. And it's not like he's been, you know, like Larry Wee Wee. You know, he's not been talking to Eagle Forum and those folks or anything. He's just, you know, he just wants more information. So I sent him a surge article and told him to go to the resource page. I sent him a surge article that Nadelson did on how the convention would work, and sent him a link to a couple videos and stuff.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I ordered 25 pocket calendars, 25 pocket constitutions.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I'd like to send those to new DCs as they go through. They're only like 70 cents a piece when you order 25.
Well, you know, I got a bunch that Hillsdale College sent me for free.
Oh, you do? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you send them then. I'll just keep on to these.
All right. Okay. Now, since we got you on the line here, we've got new DCs and existing DCs. Well, we've got new DCs that have not responded to you, right?
Yes, we do. Okay, so starting with new DCs. So we started out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There was 13 people from the original. So the original email went out on February 20th. Yeah. And Tammy was, so she's not really DC, but I included her in this. So far, I have heard nothing from David Gephardt, Casey Pickrell, Thomas Pingree, Larry Kehoe, Marilyn Larry Kehoe I heard from, but he never followed up. Marilyn Kligler and Alicia Caldwell. I've heard zero from them. So I know that George called these people. I don't understand what happened. So just to give you status of everyone, again, it's on my spreadsheet, but I did get an email on Thursday from Steve Frazee saying that he was going through the materials and he would call me to schedule, but I haven't scheduled with him yet. And same thing with Larry Kehoe. He contacted me very quickly to say he wanted to schedule, and then he dropped off the face of the earth. But I know he had surgery, so.
I talked to him. He said he was going to get back with you. He had skin graft on his ankles, so he's been having to keep his feet up, and the computer is kind of rough for him right now. But he said he's looking at the material, and he was going to contact you, see how you wanted to work it out with him not being able to get to the computer.
But that was like a week ago, though, right? Didn't you call them?
Yeah.
So basically so where we are is, and then again, so that's the first issue, obviously, people, so these are people who I've had nothing from. So yeah, Dave Gephardt, Casey Pickrell, Thomas Pingree, and Marilyn Kligler and Alicia Caldwell have nothing, not even a communication. I'm waiting on Steve Frazee, like I said, and Larry Kehoe to schedule. And then I have a bunch of people that went through Module 1, but I haven't heard from them since I sent them the second email. The second email was sent out on, well, it wasn't that long ago. It was on the 14th. So I haven't heard back from Richard Fitzsimmons, Mindy Like, or Tammy since I sent out the second email. However, I think they all signed into Slack, so I know that they've gotten their email from me. It looks like they've all gone on Slack. So
that's in the second module?
Yeah. Okay. And then the only person I have that's finished the second module is David Thornton. But I'm less concerned about the people who have already done the first module, because at least I've had contact with them, right? So I would give Richard and Mindy and Tammy a little bit longer before I would worry. David Thornton is like a maniac. He's hilarious. He's gone through the second module already. He wants to do all this training. So he's kind of in a holding pattern. I mean, he's waiting. I told him. He understands. He's waiting because, he can't start Module 3 until I get a few more people. Yeah, basically, that's only 4 people, and actually Larry Weiwei is scheduled for tomorrow. So
Now, George, you've called all these new district captains that she hasn't heard from, right?
Yeah, I went off of a list. I haven't looked at the list, your most recent list, but the one before that is the one I called from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did call all of them.
Yeah.
And they assured you that they were going to do it?
The ones that I talked to, yeah. There were maybe 3 that I couldn't get, that I didn't talk to and left a voicemail with. I've got my list, and I made the notes on it. So
I heard from Victor Monroe and Larry Weiwei after George's call, so they definitely have borne some fruit. So, because those were 2 that I hadn't heard from until George called them. Then additionally, we had 2 other district captains that were added on in the last week or so, Deb Turley and Gary Moore, and I've heard nothing from them. They had their emails sent out too. I've heard nothing from them.
Oh, you have sent those out?
Oh, yeah, wait, let me check. It's on my spreadsheet. Let me see, where are we? Deb Turley, email sent March 14th. Gary Moore, email sent March 11th. So that's all on the tracking sheet, Dale, which you should have. You should be able to access it. I write down when I send out the emails, as well as when they're.
All right. I gotta make myself look at that. Okay.
Yeah, I can resend it to you. It's fine.
No, I'm probably got it.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I can go back in Slack and see specifically because George was updating me about when he got in touch with different people last weekend.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's David Gephardt. Okay, here. So I found a message from George. David Gephardt. Talk to David Gephardt. He's limited on his internet service. They have had problems. Currently unable to get online. It's very spotty. Supposed to be fixed today. Told him to stay in contact and let us know when it's fixed. This was from March 13th, and I haven't heard from him. So
yeah, they were down at their second home, and he didn't have any. He only had his laptop there, and I guess he was having trouble with his laptop.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody that's got a second home.
Right. Well then.
Unless they invite us and it's on the lake.
Again,
well, that's true.
I have another note also from Thomas Pingree, kind of similar, from George, from March 12th. Thomas Pingree's down in Florida until the end of the month. Not a problem in and of itself, but the laptop he has down there needs a mic set up. He's taking care of that tomorrow, and we'll get a hold of you. That's March 12th. I haven't heard from him. So it looks like George got in touch with everybody that was outstanding at the time. I think you, maybe not Marilyn and Alicia, but I feel like most of them, you spoke to them, and they reassured you, and I haven't heard from most of them yet. So
yeah, they knew who I was when I was calling, so they got me on their caller ID even. So
yeah.
Hey, George.
And then, Dale, as far as the current district captains, so I sent out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 emails. And so far I've heard Terry King is scheduled, Tim Heidenreich is scheduled, Peter Youngsma, I don't know how to pronounce his name,
Youngsma, just like it reads, only a Y instead of a J.
Youngsma, he's gotten in touch with me, and somebody else I think got in touch with me but hasn't scheduled yet. So, yeah. So it's going really, 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 really slow.
Yeah, and this really sucks too.
It's much slower than we thought it would be, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and again, it's funny, like, and you talk to any of my friends, I've been bitching to them for like 3 weeks. I'm like, I cleared out the entire month of March. I was expecting to be doing this 5 times a day. You know, I was all ready, and I'm just like waiting for somebody to schedule so that I can train them.
I really thought you'd be overwhelmed and crying for help by now.
Yeah. I mean, you're clearing your emails what they need to do, right? I mean, I would expect that you are.
Like I said, I mean, you know, George, I had people contact me on this. You know, within the first 3 days of sending an email, I got David Thornton, Richard Fitzsimmons, and Mindy Like and Tammy Scarborough all contacting me. So obviously they were able to understand what was expected because they all got in touch with me.
Yeah.
So it's not and when you spoke to all of them, in all your messages, you said that they all got my email. They all acknowledged that they received it. They were just whatever.
One found it in his spam folder, but he fixed that.
Yeah. So I don't, you know, again, it's very clear. I just think this is kind of the issue that we've been talking about, Dale, from the beginning. You know, about like accountability, and I don't know.
Right.
You know, we want quality district captains, and
yeah. I mean,
well, you've also got 2 support people that we need to get started. Nancy Paul and Thomas Hoff.
Okay.
Nancy Paul's our new media liaison, and she's chomping at the bit to get going.
Okay.
Very excited. Thomas, I don't.
Videographer.
He's a videographer, and I don't know where. I don't know where he is.
Well, I can send emails out to them today. Sending the emails is perfectly, it's fine. The good news is, let's start with the good news, because Dale, you seem like you're gonna like just go and curl up in the corner in a minute.
Yeah, we need some good news. We need some good news here.
I actually think the training is going well. So to the extent that we're actually training people, I feel very good about like feeling like I'm connecting to them. You know, the enthusiasm is really great, and everybody seems to be, you know, looking forward to the training, and they seem to be having a positive reaction to it.
Good.
And also, just, I don't know if you know this, because I know you were talking, Dale, about veterans.
Yeah.
You know that Victor Monroe is a veteran? And he's very active apparently on Facebook, and he talks about Convention of States on social media a lot. I just had my first training with him last night. He was fantastic. and mentioned that he was in the military for 20 years. So, and he was very, very, like, very politically motivated. He was very thankful about, having me explain things to him. I mean, I really found him, he was a smart guy, but he certainly was not, one of those people who felt like he knew everything. And so I thought that maybe I wanted to make sure that you brought it to your attention. I didn't want to bring it up to him without speaking to you first, that maybe coalition.
How Don Brown's kind of falling through, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was really great. And especially, with like I said, with the military situation. And again, he talks about, because I always ask them to tell me, how they got involved or why they're interested in convention of states. And he talked about how he's a political animal. He's really into politics. He loves reading about it. And he posts things on social media all the time and likes to talk about convention of states on Facebook. So I just want him to bring to your attention, Dale, as far as comms and or coalition's veterans situation. He seems like he's very close to retirement. I mean, you guys spoke to him. I'm sure you know this already, but he's very close to retirement, and it looks like he really is gung-ho to put a lot of time into this organization. I think he feels even more confident after doing the first module. I think he feels like he made the right choice with us. So,
well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because he is on the list of veterans, and I was not going to call him since he had signed up to be, a co-leader. But I will call him.
Yeah.
I will contact him.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
You.
Also for comms too, Dale, as far as always trying to get people who are more active on social media to help to work with comms to like post things and to, I think he's, some of our people, including myself, are not huge social media people. So whenever somebody mentions that they really like using social media or they use it a lot, I think that's important to take note of too.
Okay.
So that was another thing. The other thing too is, see if there's anyone.
Are you shuffling papers around?
I have a notebook where I take notes on each of my training sessions. Is that
It is just coming through your microphone really loud.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The other thing I think I mentioned to you is that, again, also that David Thornton really wants to be a region captain.
Yes, I remember that, and want to keep that in mind.
Yeah. I'm trying to give you good news. I'm trying to give you only good news now. So,
all right.
Let's see if there's anything else I have. Also, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess my question would be, for the people who have already finished Module 1, do you want me to start bothering them? Or George or what is going to be our procedure going forward for following up with people? Are we going to be
sending an email?
Yeah.
I don't think we should go any more than a week. 2 or 3 days may be a little quick.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll start with the worst case scenario first. Okay, so we have a bunch of district captains, new district captains. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who I have not even scheduled their first module yet as of today. So that's been now close to 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks since I sent the first email.
Yeah.
How many weeks?
You're talking about before we kick them out.
Or before we maybe, give them that kind of a call saying, you have a deadline now, that basically, maybe we need to kind of change it as far as saying, hey, I'm just calling to see if you got this email. Don't forget. Maybe message needs to change to, listen, we're trying to accommodate you, but it's now been 3 weeks or a month since you were told that you need to sign up for training and you have not scheduled. If you don't schedule by the end of the month, we're not going to let you continue to be district captain.
Okay, when was the first email sent to the new DCs?
February 28th.
February 28th. So it has been, it's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks, hasn't it?
Yep. And then I have, Richard and Mindy finished their first module on the 7th. So it's been 2 weeks since I sent them the second email. I haven't heard back from them. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like so frustrating.
Well, now the second module, is that, I don't have my outline in front of me here. Is there more?
Okay. No.
More
the first
reading
module
involved?
the first module is the only one that's heavy reading. The second module is basically just the training manual, a short video on Slack, a short video on Citizen Builder, and that's it. So.
Well, okay.
Do you send out the invites for Slack, Rachel?
Dale sends them out. As soon as I'm ready to send out the second email, I tell Dale, and then he gives invites to Slack.
Okay.
So, yeah, so like within a day or two after they finish their original training, the first module, Richard Fitzsimmons, David Thornton, Mindy Like, and Tammy Scarborough, those are the 4 that finished Module 1. So they all got my emails, and at the same time that I sent them the email, I had Dale send them the Slack invite. And I've seen all 4 of them on Slack, so.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah. So we know they received. Plus, again, these are already people that have my number. They've already contacted me. So if they ever had an issue, I'm assuming they would call me or text me. So.
Yeah, I mean that's all. That's one of the big points of us doing this is so they feel comfortable contacting us. If
Exactly.
something does come up or whatever. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I can tell you that there've been, that I have gotten a couple of people. I think it was actually Tammy who scheduled with me for like one day, and then she was scheduled to do her module 1 on like a Monday at 7 p.m. and she actually texted me at about 5 and said, "I'm really sorry, but I just printed out the material. I didn't realize how much it was, and I don't want to, not be prepared. So can we reschedule?" And I was perfectly happy to do that. That's, she didn't want to be unprepared. As far as reading, but like I said, 3 weeks. Come on.
Yeah, we're going to have to, I think,
executive decision here.
well, I hate to do this. It was so damn hard to get them on board in the first place, and I hate to.
Can we take a probation period or something? If they fail to make contact, they get on like a probation period or something, and when that's done, then.
But how do we put them on probation? They haven't done any. I mean, they have done literally. These people have done nothing as district captains here, right? Yeah. We called them. They said, okay. They put in their application. That's great. They spoke to us on the phone, and the first thing that we're asking them to do, they haven't done yet. So that's kind of concerning, I guess. But I understand your point. I mean, maybe like I said, maybe it needs to be like an ultimatum. Maybe that's the next step. Basically, this is a deadline.
Well, if you recall, one of the things that we wanted to cover in this training program was those people that are really not serious about doing this.
Right.
And better we learn that now than 6-8 months from now.
Right.
So I think it's time for an ultimatum. I think if we haven't heard from them by the end of this week, I don't know. Either we will pull their application, or we tell them that we'll put them back at the end of the line of the training progress, or do you think it ought to be? What do you think? Do you think we ought to give them a week and pull it?
There's not really a line, is there? I mean, where's the end of the line at? So.
Yeah. Are you two in favor of setting a deadline and that's it?
My sense is that I'm willing to be more flexible about scheduling, meaning, again, this is a volunteer position, and, the fact that 2 weeks may go by that somebody's really busy, that's one thing. My issue is more the contact, especially since we do have in our elaborative, our supplement, that they are going to be required to respond to all communications from leadership within 24 or 48 hours. I don't remember which one it was. So, like if I got a text or an email from somebody where they said, listen, I'm I had a really crazy week at work. I'm printing it out now. I'll get back to you. At least I feel like they'll have the consideration of getting back in touch with me. But to have people receive the email, they didn't contact me, even though it said to contact within a week. Then George calls them and tells them, hey, just want to make sure you got the email. They say, I did get the email. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm busy. Okay. Now another week goes by. I just feel like if we can't even get them to return to text, they don't even have to call me. They can just send me a text message. If they can't email, text message, even to tell me that they're, I'm unavailable until April, whatever. I just feel like that's the part where I feel like I don't know how we can be flexible on that. It seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. The ones that haven't gotten back to you at all from the first module, I think they need to be do or die.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, what's do or die? When's
Hold it within a set period of time, or we reject them. We can reject them.
Yeah, that it's now been 3 weeks since you were sent your training email. We're trying to be we want to be flexible with your schedule. However, according to our records, you have not even made any attempt to contact the trainer or to schedule or even discuss this. And we unless you make contact with the trainer by the end of the week or by the end of the month, we're going to have to rescind our offer. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Right. Sorry.
Can you draft up that email?
You want to do it by email? Yeah. Sure.
And let's send it out tomorrow and give them by the end of this week, by Friday, to schedule or contact you and schedule. And if not, then their application will be rejected. And
can you include in there also that if things change at a later period of time that they can reapply, or do we not even want to consider that?
I mean, we can certainly put it in there. It doesn't mean we have to give them.
Yeah, would it also tempt them to say, yeah, okay, I'll just do it later on, instead of inspiring them to act now?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
what? That they can reapply at a future date? Is that
if they get rejected now? I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on informing them of that, because I don't want to give them an out.
Right.
You know?
Right.
No,
also, in case, I guess. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I see George's point. There's two sides to it. It's sort of, if it's a good person who really did just get overwhelmed with some crazy event, we want to make sure that they know that they can reapply. But on the other hand, if it's just somebody being lazy and procrastinating, we don't want to encourage them to put us through this again, right?
Yeah.
No.
Should they download a phone call instead of an email?
Well, I was going to ask that too. Does it make more sense to do it by phone? To make
I think they kind of, I don't know. I'd rather get it in as a phone call than it'd be more forceful with a phone call rather than an email. It's kind of impersonal, and
I generally agree with that. Yeah, I generally also feel that with a phone call, we at least know for a fact that the person actually heard the message. With emails, I always worry that it gets put in a spam folder or the person doesn't read it, and then we're So I tend to like phone calls.
Okay, all right. Do a phone call. What's another term for reject?
Kill.
Your application for district captain will be
denied.
Terminated.
I would just say that we're going to be unable to
continue. Or?
I would say that due because of the fact that if you haven't scheduled by the end of the week, we'll no longer be able to consider you as a potential district captain. I don't think we have to talk about it.
We'll terminate your training.
I don't even think we need to just say you're no longer going to be able to be, you know.
Do we keep him as a district? Do we keep him on the team and just not promote him to district captain?
Oh, that's interesting.
No, that then we got to explain what that means. And
Right.
Well, I kind of do that along.
I think we just say that we will no longer be able to consider you for district captain.
I think we could also say, you know, we're still very happy to have you as a volunteer. We'd welcome your volunteering in the future if you're still interested in volunteering. However, you know, due to the demands of this particular position, and the fact that you have not communicated with us in a month's time about you starting your training, we no longer feel comfortable extending you this offer as to become a leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nicely put.
Sounds good. That sounds good.
I mean, am I going to have to make these calls, or is George volunteering? What are we doing? How are we doing this?
Yeah, I can make them.
Do you want me to write something, or are you comfortable?
I could do it, but I'll take whatever you got and look at it too.
What I just said. I'll send you it, and you can use whatever wording you want. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll also send you the list. I'll send you a separate list, separate from the spreadsheet, of the people who have basically not. I think it's only 5. It's 6 people, maybe 7.
Okay. What you put out a list a couple days ago, didn't you, on Slack?
Yeah. So that, and this is for Dale too. So basically, the thing that I posted on Slack, that's on the Google Drive, and the reason I put it on the Google Drive instead of just saving it as a file is because I'm not sure. Anytime you click on that, it should show you any updates I put in. So anytime I schedule somebody or there's new information, I enter it into that spreadsheet. So anytime that you click on that spreadsheet, it should show you the most updated information.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, we don't have to decide this tonight, but the next group that we may be faced with this kind of decision with is going to be existing district captains.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
jeez.
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
You must have your microphone like right there on the table or something.
Sorry. No, I have my laptop. I guess I keep hitting my laptop with the page. Sorry.
Okay. It comes across awfully loud. That's all.
Like I said, we don't have to decide this tonight, but I would say, those emails just went out last week. I know, right? The end of last week.
For the second model, George.
For the existing.
I'm
talking about.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
March
Module
15th.
1 for the existing district captains.
March 15th. So it's been almost a week.
Well, that was last Thursday. Okay, and this is.
Oh, not March 15th. Sorry, it's been 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was 24th. Yeah, March 15th.
So
I haven't responded yet.
I didn't send one to you, George.
Yeah. Didn't?
No, I didn't.
I thought I remember seeing something, but.
I don't think I sent one to you.
Oh, okay. I'm talking the Dale sent out an email as a heads up that it was coming. So.
I figured if you wanted to go through it, we could just do it on the fly. We wouldn't have to do it by formal.
Send his carrier pigeon, just so he'll be sure to see it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that notification for this call. Right. It's happened before.
All right, so we will. I hope we don't have to go through this discussion with existing district captains, but my guess is we probably will. But hopefully you'll get a flood of them in calling you this next week.
Yeah, like I said, I've already gotten 3 so far that have contacted me, so that's not too bad.
Oh, the existing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So.
When do you want to do the phone calls to the do-nothings?
I think that'd be the phone call. I think Dale said beginning of the week and then give them the end of the week, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll post all that information on Slack. I'll send you everything on tonight on Slack.
All right.
as far as
one
the
other
support
thing,
people, sorry.
huh?
I'm sorry, I know you wanted to do the support people also, right? That was going to be the next one.
Right.
I wanted to just ask you, so for support, that would be everyone else in leadership. So would that include, like, I mean, I guess I'm a little confused about people like Paul. I mean, he's
No. I was talking about the two support people, Nancy, Paul, and Tom.
Those two.
Just
okay.
those two.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's fine. That's easy enough. Okay. No problem.
Now, you guys saw my Slack that I put out on Donald Brown and Larry Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I don't want to come off as being high and mighty here, but it just seems to me that whoever is the state director here, whoever it might be, if you get a phone message from the state director, that you should respond to that pretty soon, don't you think?
Yeah. That's my motivation for calling you back.
And I mean, am I being unreasonable on that?
No. Don Brown's a really good guy. I kind of hate to see it happen to him.
Well, and
he's doing Red Cross, Habitat for Humanity. He's worked with Homeland Security. He's been involved with floating in Elkhart here recently. But then again, there's the point that, if you don't have time for us, you don't have time for us. I mean, the stuff you're doing is great, but that doesn't do us any good.
Right. And I was my phone conversation with him was mainly about the coalition's director.
Yeah, I did talk to him after that. And that's when I found out he'd been busy with the flooding in Elkhart. But I didn't even know Elkhart had flooded until I talked to him. He said it was pretty bad. Houses were underwater and stuff.
Really?
He said that he kind of looked at it a little bit, but he still needed to go over it, and that's kind of where it was left.
Well, okay, all right.
Dale,
so, yeah.
Well, I have a thought, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, as far as people not calling you back, and maybe this is not the case, but do you think maybe what might be happening in some of these cases is because you'll call them and leave them a message, and then George will call and leave a message because he's also trying to follow up with these people. I wonder if maybe they think that they only need to call back one person. That maybe like you leave a message, but then George calls them and gets them on the phone, and they talk to George, and maybe they are under the impression that left hand speaking to the right hand, and therefore they no longer need to call you back because they already spoke with George.
Well,
just wondering. Maybe. I mean, maybe it's not disrespectful, I guess. That's why I don't know. Maybe it is.
I guess something like that's possible. Yeah. Well, I know when I talked to Don Brown, I told him that Dale had been trying to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
About the coalition's director. I did not tell him that, well, I did tell him that I would pass on the fact that he's been busy to Dale. So I guess, I guess in that case, he could look at it before you were suggesting.
Rachel, I think back to the days when I was a district captain or a region captain, and if I had a phone call from my region captain, Gary Hall, if I had a phone message from him and a phone message from Diane Gomez, you better believe Diane would be the first one I would call.
Yeah. No, I understand. I was just,
that's just me, and I guess, and like I said, it's not so much about me; it's about the position, and and we require district captains to respond actually within 24 hours instead of the 48 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, you're right. Listen, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, I think it's disrespectful. It's not a good sign if they're not calling you back. Certainly.
Yeah. When I talk to Don again, I'll make it clear to him.
Okay.
Or get some kind of clarification.
It's not our fault that nobody wants to. People don't like you. I mean, what are we supposed to do? They don't want to talk to you.
I'm really beginning to sense that. I really am.
I can't help you.
Yeah, I talked to these people. We had a great time.
I might be crazy, but at least people aren't avoiding me. Well, maybe they are with training, but I don't know.
Well, does Larry Hudson want to be a district captain? Do you think, George? Does he think he's going to be a district captain? Do you know?
Refresh my mind on Larry Hudson.
Larry Hudson is the guy that wanted to understand Convention of States thoroughly, and he had gotten into some JVS stuff. And
okay. I know who you're talking about then.
We sent him a bunch of stuff. You sent him a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if I sent him any more stuff. I sent the Stephen, where the new one, just like on the 16th or 17th he applied.
George, sorry, but Larry, you posted an email that you got from Larry Hudson just a couple of days ago, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, put on Slack. Yeah.
He's that. So basically, he was.
Yeah, after I talked to him, he sent me an email.
Confused because there were like checklists and things that my sense is that he seems to be. I know he seems like he thinks he keeps getting sent these automatic things, and unlike most of our people who just ignore them, he feels like he has to do all these other tasks. It seems like that's part of the problem too, right?
Oh yeah. Oh like recruiting 10 people and that kind of stuff. Yeah. My reply told me that kind of stuff. That sort of take care of itself.
I mean, he was one of my I actually had recruited him initially, and I thought he was definitely interested. So but I know it's been issues with getting in touch with him. I don't know.
Oh, I think he knowledge-wise, as long as he's now understanding our side of things and he agrees with what all we stand for, it seems to me, he would be an excellent district captain, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just hung up on this one thing about him getting back, returning my calls. And it's not one. I left him 2 messages. First was a voicemail, and the second one was a message with, I assume it was his wife. So I'm under the impression that Larry would make an excellent district captain, but
at this point it's all talk and no show.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just wanted to get your sense on that.
All right. You want me to get it? I'll get hold of these people again. The ones that haven't responded back to Rachel at all, I'll give them the ultimatum, and the ones that Hudson never got back to you either, Rachel, right? Or no, he's not even a district captain, so.
Yeah, no, he's not a district captain.
Those ones that are hanging out there in midair, then I'll make contact with them again, and find out what the deal is. If they want to continue, then they got to go. Hit the floor running.
Yeah.
Or look at a different position or something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, certainly. I mean, we don't want to turn them away as volunteers. And certainly there's other ways they can help, but this just is not the right position for them. We need to. Maybe because of the time commitment or whatever, they're going to be other demands like this put on them as district captains. And if they don't feel that they can, complete the training program, we certainly don't feel comfortable giving them the responsibility. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, I can't think of nothing.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
Dale,
I hope
I
you
just wanna
guys
ask
in
I'm
your
sorry, one
spare
other thing.
huh?
One other thing. I know we had talked about this last. Are you considering inviting any of the trainees to the next state call?
No, I hadn't considered it. Should I?
Oh, I think I remember talking with you about this last month, and I think we assumed we would be much further along in the training program. I certainly think maybe, you know, if people have finished module 1 and 2, you might want to consider inviting them. Like David Thornton, I feel like he's put in, you know, he's basically in a holding pattern now because he's forced to wait for all the other people that haven't, you know, gotten through module 1 and 2 yet. Maybe he could be invited on the call.
I think that's a good point. When
Yeah.
anyone that's completed modules 1 and 2, we'll
Right.
invite
Okay.
to the call, and we'll put them on the list.
Yeah,
That's
I think that might be nice to keep, because, you know, especially since they're going to be forced to sit and wait for all these slow folks to continue their training, it'll give them something else to do.
Right.
What is it about Module 3 that can be done? It's better not to do it one-on-one.
Well, because Paul is actually Paul is going to, after speaking with Paul, he's going to be doing it. He's going to be doing the live trainings for Module 3, which I'm thrilled about. And I think that I think he agrees. I think that I think that he agrees with me that having a discussion type format and having people be able to talk about their different ideas is very important. For, you know, and also I want them to be doing something in small groups. These district captains need to be connected to one another as well as to us. I think it's important. I think that this isolation is not good for us as an organization, and I think that, you know, the three of us, we're talking, we see each other's faces, you know, on a state conference call, it's just disembodied voices, you know, and I don't feel like you really get to know people that way. And so I feel like the idea of having district captains, you know, actually have a conversation about these issues and how they might, what their questions and stuff like that are, is helpful. So I think that was my idea with the legislative, and I don't know that Paul has the time to do 30 of these one-on-one also. So I think.
Well, can he, if he's waiting on Module 3, can he go ahead and jump to Module 4?
Oh, well, I guess, well, I don't know. That would be, you know, you would have to just adapt your Module 4 to, you know, the fact that they haven't covered any legislative stuff yet. So I don't know if that would be more a question to you. So we can talk about that. I'm certainly fine with that. Yeah, we can talk about that. I also, my concern though with that too though is that if we're still going to do the small group format for legislative, if we have half of the people in that small group have already done the grassroots and the other half haven't, and if they start talking about something, you know, I think we'll figure it out. I mean, again, like I said, David Thorne's a good sport. He understands. He's not, you know, I don't get the sense that he's going to hold it against us or be frustrated. He also works all week long. You know, he's always has access to his phone, but he's on the road all the time. So it's not like he's sitting in the house going crazy. So I think if we get to a point where we feel like we might be losing somebody or they might be, you know, kind of getting annoyed, we can certainly be flexible with that. I think that's probably the best.
No, maybe we can find something for him to do then, or something to.
Yeah, like I said, he's okay. He's not, like I said, he said he's not even available. He's going to be working all week, so he couldn't schedule anything this coming week anyway.
Oh, okay.
So, and he just did his training, so, yeah, yesterday, second module, so.
Okay. This meeting was intended to only be 30 minutes long, and you guys have stretched this out to an hour and a half now.
Hey, it takes practice.
Yeah. So. You guys talk too slow.
Yeah, fair deal.
Okay, I hate to say this, but is there anything else on your mind?
No.
No, I'm cool.
Done.
All right. Okay, guys, have a good night.
Okay, you too.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you. Bye.